What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So I've been getting a lot of questions from people just over the past few days, and they're really wondering what is going on with President Biden, with former President Donald Trump, and this upcoming election. Usually what we hear about this time, and usually it happens about 6 months before the election, you start hearing what the certain parties are campaigning on, how they're going to make the United States better. Right? How are they going to make America better? Well, we haven't heard a whole lot about that. We've heard why the other party, why the other candidate should not be the next president. Former President Donald Trump has said and been very clear why he does not believe current President Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are should be in charge of the United States. Joe Biden has done the exact same thing. Here's the issue. The American people have no idea what's coming. And here's why. We now have more reports that there are thousands and thousands of people potentially going to flood the United States southern border as soon as possible. And all this is because President Joe Biden does not want to drop out of the upcoming election. We have heard from many Democrats, some independents as well, every single Republican, and they all say Joe Biden should step down. We've also heard that former President Donald Trump does not want to run up against Vice President Kamala Harris. He wants to beat Joe Biden. Now, this morning, we heard from Senator Joe Manchin. Senator Joe Manchin is one of those senators that has a lot of power. He's not a powerful man, but what he says usually does stand. It holds some weight. Senator Joe Manchin is also a friend of Joe Biden. He said that Joe Biden should exit the race. And he said this: "I came to a decision with a heavy heart, and I think it's time to pass the torch to a new generation." He does not believe President Biden has what it takes to beat former President Donald Trump. We now know that more than 36 Democrats, I believe 4 senators, have all called for Joe Biden to step down. However, Joe Biden does not want to do that. His family does not want him to step down. Now, there is some speculation out there. I don't know, how far this will go, but there's some speculation that the reason why his family doesn't want him to step down is because of all the stuff going on with Hunter Biden. That the family may have done some shady things, and right now that he's president, they can get away with that. But if he's not president, then the family will be looked at through a microscope. They will be picked apart. Again, I don't know how much truth there is to that, but again, that's what the speculation is. Here's another thing. Former President Barack Obama and the former Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, have both been having open discussions with lawmakers about who will replace President Joe Biden. As of right now, they are suggesting that the best option is to have current Vice President Kamala Harris as the person that replaces him on the ticket. However, Senator Joe Manchin said, and he suggested, that Democrats have an open nomination policy or process to choose and truly choose who the best possible candidate will be, not just put Kamala Harris on as the replacement. Now, what does this do? Well, here's the problem. And I'm down in San Diego right now, and I've been talking to a handful of people. One of the big questions around here is how many more people are coming? How many immigrants are going to come across the border, come into California to get the free sun, right? To take the health care, get free food, get some free lodging, shelter, right? How many people are going to do that? Well, according to reports, there are thousands and thousands of people, trying to make their way through Mexico up to the U.S. southern border, and they want to do this within the next couple of months because they have a feeling President Joe Biden is going to lose this upcoming election if he's even the one on the ticket. They don't think Democrats have a chance of winning the election. Many people don't think Democrats have a chance of winning the House back and keeping control of the Senate. Everything would go towards Republicans. If this happens, former President Donald Trump has stated that he would have a mass deportation event. It could be a big mass deportation event. Here's the problem. To deport somebody is going to take some time. It's going to take resources, going to take money, and that right there is something that Democrats or Republicans might not be so open to immediately. But what they would do is they'd block the border. They would stop people from coming over the U.S. southern border. With that said, people would need to get into the United States before the next president takes over control, which would come in January. So, here's what we know. Right now, immigration protection and border security. That's what people are looking at. That is what's on this upcoming ticket. Do we want to see more people come into the United States? And I'm all for immigration. I think that is one of the things that has made this country, great in giving us a leg up on other countries. But at the same time, when you have 5 to 10,000 people entering the United States illegally every single day, we've passed legislation so that the president can limit this. The problem is the president has his eyes pretty much closed with these issues because he's too worried about, well, I need to fight for my position. I need to fight for my upcoming candidacy because right now my own party doesn't want me to be the president. So with that said, where do we go from here? Well, this is where I believe Americans have no idea what's coming. Honestly, I have no idea what's coming either. Because if President Biden stays in the race, Republicans are projected to win this upcoming election in a landslide. If President Biden does not stay in the race and a new Democrat steps forward, first off, who is it going to be? Secondly, what are their policies? What's their stance on immigration? What's their stance on abortion, Social Security, right? Government funding, right? Our deficit, taxes. We have no clue. This is why some are saying right now that if you look at the two potential candidates, Joe Biden versus former President Donald Trump, well, it's pretty clear what we have. But if a new candidate comes in, now that candidate, which according to reports would likely be Kamala Harris, which again, we have an idea of what she wants, but at the same time, she hasn't really been in the spotlight. She hasn't been pushing her own policies, her own agenda. It's all been about President Biden. So with that said, we could see a completely new direction under Kamala Harris or whoever her running mate may be. Some are saying it could be somebody like Hillary Clinton. Well, we'll see what happens there. The one thing I can tell you, though, is if Democrats decide to put Kamala Harris and Hillary Clinton on the ticket, the issue is, what is that America going to look like? It may be better. It may not be. But that's what voters are going to have to decide. Do they go with somebody that they already know in former President Donald Trump? Or do they go with a new person, a new people that could potentially flip the United States upside down? Well, that's what we're going to find out soon enough. So again, I will leave you with that, but just understand, as of right now, Americans have no idea what's coming, and it doesn't look like we'll know for at least a little bit. So, as soon as we get information as to whether or not President Biden decides to step down, as of right now, the answer is no, but many people are pressing him to finally step down so they can bring somebody else in and do this before it's too late. So again, that is what we know as of today. As soon as I know more, I promise I'll come back on and share all the latest news and updates. But that is what we know as of today. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.